Being crushed is one of those experiences the human mind almost refuses to fully comprehend. Not because it's rare in imagination, but because the body itself has limits that are so absolute, so brutally defined, that anything beyond them becomes something closer to a system failure than a feeling. To even begin to understand it, you have to strip away the idea of strength, endurance, or willpower, because none of those matter once the pressure exceeds what the human body was designed to withstand. Now imagine a moment where everything is normal. There is air, movement, space. Your body is upright, balanced, unaware of what is about to happen. And then, in an instant, that space disappears. Not slowly, not gradually, but all at once, like reality itself collapses inward. A massive force pins the body down or inward from all sides, and the first thing that happens is not pain. It is confusion. The brain struggles to understand what has changed so quickly. The human body is built to react to danger through a system of rapid alarms. Adrenaline surges instantly. The heart rate spikes. Muscles tighten instinctively as if trying to push back against the pressure. But this is where the situation becomes terrifying in a very unique way, because there is nothing to push against. No leverage. No escape. Just force. Breathing becomes the first true battle. The chest, which normally expands effortlessly with each breath, now feels like it is trapped under an invisible weight. Every inhale is shorter than the last. The ribs, strong as they are, begin to resist expansion as external pressure limits their movement. The diaphragm struggles to pull air in, but even oxygen becomes difficult to access. And as oxygen levels begin to drop, the brain starts to change its behavior. This is where panic truly begins to form. Not as a thought, but as a biological response. The mind starts sending urgent signals: move, escape, push, survive. But the body is locked in place. Muscles contract harder, not realizing that strength is meaningless against overwhelming force. And in this contradiction between effort and futility, panic intensifies. Pain arrives next, but not all at once. It builds in layers. At first, it is pressure. Then it becomes sharp discomfort. Then it becomes a deep, grinding sensation, as if every bone is being slowly compressed beyond its natural shape. Bones are incredibly strong structures, designed to support weight and absorb impact, but they are not designed for continuous, extreme compression from all directions. Under enough force, even bone begins to protest. Inside the body, organs are also under threat. The lungs are struggling first, compressed so tightly that air exchange becomes inefficient. The heart is forced to pump against abnormal resistance, working harder even as oxygen supply decreases. Blood flow starts to shift in unnatural ways, and the entire system begins to fall out of balance. One of the most disturbing aspects of being crushed is how quickly the brain begins to feel detached from reality. Oxygen deprivation affects cognitive function rapidly. Thoughts become fragmented. Time perception changes. Seconds stretch unnaturally long, as if each moment is being pulled apart. In some cases, people describe this phase as surreal, almost dreamlike, where fear and calm seem to exist at the same time. But beneath that strange mental distortion, the body is still fighting. Instinct is still active. Survival circuits in the brain continue firing commands that cannot be fulfilled. Get out. Move. Push. Breathe. But none of these instructions can be executed. And this gap between command and reality creates one of the most psychologically intense forms of distress the human body can experience. As pressure increases or continues, nerve endings across the body begin to send overwhelming signals. This is not localized pain. It is widespread. It feels as though the entire body is being compressed into a single point of suffering. The skin, muscles, joints, and bones all contribute to a unified sensation of distress that is almost impossible to isolate or understand. At a certain point, the body begins to prioritize survival in a different way. It starts shutting down non-essential processes. Conscious awareness may begin to fade. Vision can narrow. Hearing can become distant. The brain, in its final attempt to preserve itself, reduces activity in areas that are not immediately necessary for survival. This is where some survivors report a strange sense of detachment. It is not peace, but rather separation, as if they are observing their own experience from a distance. This is the nervous system's way of protecting itself from overwhelming input. And yet, even in this state, the sensation of pressure remains. It does not disappear. It simply becomes part of the background of fading awareness. The body is still trapped in a condition it cannot resolve,